Right. Good morning. Good morning. Happy Christmas Eve. Go ahead and take a moment to find your way to your mat. Finding a nice, comfortable cross-legged position. And we're just going to take a few moments to center in. I'm going to be focusing the word today. The focus of today is connection. As a lot of us are here today to connect with our families, connect with love, and for the next half hour, connecting with ourselves. So slowing that breath down, taking nice deep inhales and exhales through the nose. And just allowing your shoulders to drop down away from your ears. And as you begin to feel grounded through your root, through your sit bones, go ahead and see if from that grounded space, you can get a little bit more length, drawing up through the crown. Almost as if you could create a tiny bit of space between each vertebra. Tucking that belly button in, activating your core. A couple more deep breaths here. Maybe you gently allow your eyes to open, interlacing your fingers. Go ahead and press those palms forward, drawing your elbows in towards one another. And still with a nice straight spine, go ahead and begin to draw the palms of your hands up towards the sky. Maybe you don't get them all the way back by your ears. Maybe to have them straight, they're forward a little bit, but just continuing to work them up towards, straight up to the ceiling. Breathing into the rib cage here. And on your next exhale, releasing down, go ahead and switch that interlace to the awkward one, the one that doesn't come naturally. Pressing the palms forward, drawing those shoulder blades back on your back, pressing the palms up. And from up here, again, continuing to draw those shoulders down, away from your ears. Squeezing the elbows in towards one another, drawing that belly button up and in. Just a couple more deep breaths here. One more deep breath in. And exhale, releasing down. We're definitely going to get right into some nice deep hip openers. So go ahead, just take this as far as what feels good for you, but we'll start with that left leg, the knee pointing straight in front, left foot coming down alongside of the hip. And if you feel a stretch here, or maybe try leaning forward a little bit, if you feel a stretch in the back of the hip here, you can stay here. If you want to go deeper, go ahead and take that right leg across. And we're working towards, my hips are not my most open space, but we'll work towards the knees stacking on top of one another, and eventually they'll even like rest on top of one another. And you may have already more open hips than me, but that's what we're working towards. Maybe you begin to walk the fingers forward. Reconnecting with that breath here. Breathing into the back of the hips. And as we connect with ourselves here, The hips tend to be one of the areas that is activated when we're stressed or in any sort of fight or flight mode. So it tends to be a place where we kind of hold on to a lot of baggage, a lot of stuck emotions. So just being mindful that as we begin to work into the hips here, that you're not transferring that tension to other areas like the jaw or around your eyes. So maybe just move that bottom jaw back and forth. Maybe make some circles. Maybe squeeze the eyes together real tight and then release. And squeeze and release. And just feel your entire face relax as we continue to open into the hips. Inhale, pressing up. Go ahead and take your time to set up for the other side. Uncrossing the legs, and now the right knee. Tracking right in front, straight forward from that hip joint. Again, you might want to work your hands forward here, kind of check in with yourself today. If you want to go a little deeper, bringing that left leg on top. And from here, you kind of want to make sure that both hips are seated on the mat. So if it's already a pretty deep stretch just here, go ahead and don't feel the need to walk forward. But if you do feel like you want a little bit deeper stretch, then maybe you begin to walk forward, drawing that chest towards those knees. Again, allowing the eyes to close for the next few breaths here, seeing what we can release. Just noticing. Noticing is a way to connect with ourselves. Are we more open on this side? Are we less open on this side? How can we work each side to begin to bring a little bit more balance into the body? Again, checking in with your face. Are you clenching? Are you holding on to tension in the face as we're working on releasing from the hips? Just relax, relaxing that face, relaxing that belly. Inhale, pressing up. Go ahead and release the cross, making your way onto your hands and knees. Stacking the joints, coming to a nice neutral spine. Inhale, let tailbone and crown up. Exhale, pressing back. Inhale forward. And exhale back. One more time. Inhale forward, trying to get that full range of motion here in your spine. Exhale back. Pressing, pressing, pressing. And then coming to neutral spine. Beautiful work, tucking those toes under, pressing those hips up and back, down dog. If this is a lot in your shoulder, please always feel free to come to child's pose or modify. I am going to do a quick hip opening here. So bringing that right foot to the center of the mat, left heel up and back. And you're going to keep opening the hip, bending that knee and drawing that heel out towards the back of the room, gazing out under your left armpit. One more inhale, exhale here. And on your next inhale, beginning to straighten, shifting those hips back to square with the mat and replacing the left foot. Inhale, right foot up, bending into the knee, opening that hip, gazing out under the right armpit. On your next inhale, coming back to center and replacing the right foot, walking your feet up towards your hands, taking a nice bend in the knees to get there. Maybe you take a really deep bend and allow that belly to kind of rest against those thighs, dropping the head and neck, and then pressing into the heels, bending and straightening those legs, opening up through the hamstrings, and maybe you don't get them all the way to straight, and that's okay. Beginning to work the hips kind of forward over the heels. And then we're going to go ahead and take a step back with the left foot coming into a low lunge, pressing out through that back heel, beginning to shimmy that right foot out towards the outside right edge of your mat. Go ahead and bring that right hand on the inside of the foot, dropping that left knee to the mat. Maybe you come on the top of the foot. Just working into the hips here. Maybe forwards and backwards, side to side, breathing. You can even come onto the outside edge of that left foot. And maybe you're here for today. Maybe you begin to work your hands down, work yourself down onto your elbows. And connecting with that breath, connecting to that opening. If you came down onto your elbow, go ahead and begin to work yourself back up to palms. We're going to shimmy that right foot in towards center so that your legs are now about hips distance apart. Squaring off the hips to the front of the mat. Inhale the arms up. Anjaneyasana, pressing into that front foot. Maybe you squeeze the glutes, dropping that tailbone down, tucking that belly button up and in. Maybe you open the elbows, cactus arms, gazing up. Inhaling the arms back up, exhale, releasing the hands to the mat, shifting your hips back. The right toes come off the mat, Hanumanasana. This should be a nice deep opening in the back of the leg, working towards keeping a nice straight spine, reaching out through the crown of the head. I love the story behind this pose. This is prep kind of for coming into splits. And if you're flexible and want to continue working that front foot forward towards the splits, please, by all means, do so. This is about my flexibility for the moment. I'm breathing into the back of the leg. Anyways, the story about Hanuman is he was the monkey god who leapt across the ocean to save his love. On your next inhale, coming back forward towards Anjaneyasana, framing that right foot with your hands, tucking those back toes under. Go ahead, shift your hips up and back into down dog. Setting up for the other side, inhaling left leg up. Exhale, bend and crunch, stepping through. We'll take just a breath or two here in low lunge. And I totally forgot to start the music today. Merry Christmas Eve. Breathing here. Go ahead and begin to shimmy that left foot out to the left, bringing the left arm in. As you're ready, placing that right knee on the mat, you might kind of roll out onto the back edge of that left foot. Maybe making your way down onto your elbows. Breathing here. Get a few minutes of music anyways. Maybe. If you came down onto your elbows, go ahead and begin pressing up. Walking that left foot back in towards center and shifting those hips back. Hanuman. I'll come back and do Anjaneyasana in a moment. Breathing into the back of the leg here. Go ahead and take a peek back. If your hips are starting to kind of float to one side or the other, go ahead and see if you can bring them back towards center. Again, if you want to continue sliding that front heel forward, if you're open in the back of the legs here, or even want to move all the way towards splits, feel free. I'm going to continue working here. Just a few more breaths. If you took that heel forward, go ahead and begin to slide it back. I'm going to slide it all the way back till we can bring the sole of our foot to the mat. Coming back forward. Just double checking that our knee is not coming forward over the ankle though. That'll help us protect the knee joint. Hands to the hips. Inhaling, arms up. Anjaneyasana, squeezing those thighs towards one another. Drawing that belly button up and in. Gentle squeeze through the glutes, opening those elbows. Cactus arms. Gazing up towards the sky. Anjaneyasana. On your next inhale, coming forward, bringing your hands to the mat, tucking those back toes under, pressing up and back, down dog. Just a couple breaths here, walking the heels out. Go ahead and take one more nice deep hip opener before we head towards the mat for Shavasana. So go ahead, inhale that right leg up. Exhale, bringing it through. Maybe you bring that shin parallel to the front of the mat. Maybe you allow that foot to ankle back a little towards your hip, depending on how open you are in the hips for pigeon. And then placing that back leg on the mat. Take a peek back. See if your leg is tracking straight behind you. Once you've got that all squared off, you've squared your hips off to the front of the mat. Maybe you begin to walk down onto your elbows. Maybe you come down all the way to your forehead. On your next inhale, if you come down to the forehead, beginning to press all the way back up to the palms of your hands. To come out of pigeon, we're gonna tuck those back toes under and shift those hips up as far as you can to release that bottom foot. Again, maybe you shake it out for just a second here in down dog before lifting that left leg up and placing it through. For deeper, you're gonna go towards a shin parallel to the front of the mat. For a little bit less deep, maybe to honor that tight hips, go ahead and let that shin angle back towards your body. Before you make your way down, I want you to just take a gaze back. Make sure that that back leg is tracking straight behind you. Squaring your hips off to the front of the mat, and if this is already pretty deep, stay right here, up on the palms. If you can come down a little bit deeper, go ahead and come down onto your elbows, or all the way down onto your forehead. Next inhale, beginning to press back up. Tucking those back toes under. Pressing up and back. Down dog. Go ahead and bring your knees wide, big toes together. We're going to take just a couple breaths in child's, shifting those hips back. Forehead comes to the mat. And for this child, maybe just press into the palms of the hands a little bit, just to push those hips back a little bit further. Really pressing that tailbone down towards the heels. Rolling those shoulders open, armpits curl under and in towards the ears. So there's kind of a spreading across the back. Inhale forward onto your hands and knees and make your way all the way onto your back. Let's go ahead and just take a couple bridges. So I want you to do these bridges in connection with your breath. So maybe taking just a breath or two here to slow your inhales and exhales down, inhaling to the count of 4. Pause and exhale to the count of 4. Pause, inhale to the count of 4. Pause and exhale to the count of 4. With your next inhale, beginning to roll the hips up. Squeezing at the top with the pause and exhale, rolling it down. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pause. Inhale, hips up. 2, 3, 4. Pause and squeeze. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pause at the bottom. Lift. 2, 3, 4. Squeezing at the top. 4, 3, 2, 1. Just a couple more times. Pause and lift. 2, 3, 4. Press. 4, 3, 2, 1. One more time. 2, 3, 4. Pausing at the top and down. 3, 2, 1. Resting that tailbone all the way back on the mat. Let's draw the right knee in, left foot out long. Drawing that knee a little bit over and in towards that armpit. So right knee towards right armpit. Left foot out long, flexing through that bottom foot, pressing out through that left heel. And release. Right leg out long. Left knee comes in. Squeezing that left knee in towards the armpit, pressing out through that right heel. And release. The soles of the feet to the mat. Cross that left foot over the right and drop both knees over to the right. Gazing out over that left shoulder, supine twist. Inhale up through center, uncrossing and recrossing the legs, other side, both knees over towards the left, gazing out over your right shoulder. I love twists so much for their cleansing properties. These nice supine twists and the seated ones really kind of help squeeze out our internal organs, especially the kidneys. It's just a very detoxifying pose, very good for our digestive system. Which is great because I know I'm going to enjoy a big meal today, and I hope you all are too. Inhaling those legs back up through center, and as you uncross, go ahead and draw those legs out long, a little distance apart from each other as we make our way down into Shavasana, or our final resting position. Opening those arms a little bit away from the side, palms up. We're just going to be here for a couple minutes. If you want to grab a jacket or a blanket as your body begins to cool down, feel free to do so for the next few breaths. As we relax here in Shavasana, I want you to bring into your awareness, into your mind's eye, and really all the way into your heart, the connections that you've maybe made over this past year, especially the unexpected ones, given the circumstances of the world. Maybe reflect on connections you were able to deepen as a lot of us really opened up into Zoom meetings and the virtual world. Maybe you were able to to deepen some connections that way. And then maybe reflect on those that you get to connect with this holiday season. Maybe it's not as many as you normally would be able to, but do we have the opportunity to really sink in deep with the few that are around us? And just breathing into your heart, filling your heart with that sense of connection and gratitude for those connections. And last, but certainly not least, breathe deeply into that heart space with a sense of gratitude for the most important connection. And that is your connection with yourself. With yourself, with your spirit, with all that is. And as we begin to bring some movement back into the body, maybe you run your thumbs across your fingertips. Maybe you make some circles with your feet, stretching into the ankles. Finding maybe any little stuck or crunchy spots and giving them a little bit of love. If you circled one way, go ahead and circle the other way. Yes, bringing the soles of your feet to the mat, bending the knees. Take one more nice deep breath here on your back before beginning to make your way onto your side. And just enjoy a moment in fetal, our original position, the one we got to spend oh so much time in before arriving fully present onto this planet, into this world. Just feeling connected to your original innocence before beginning to press up into seated. And as we close the class, bring the palms of our hands together. Actually, I want to do, it's cold down here. I don't know if it's cold where you are at, but creating a little bit of heat, rubbing those palms together. And then once we've generated a little bit of heat through friction, we're going to go ahead and place our hands right up as high as we can on our shoulder blades. And then begin to draw down the spine, fingertips pointing down all the way out through our hips. Just a nice little massage. I am so grateful for connection with you today and for the opportunity to connect with self, connect with the breath, connect with the body, movement, and may you enjoy all your other connections as you go about your day. Happy holidays, happy New Year's Eve, Mele Kalikimaka, namaste.